So I have a question for the men. Do you feel more like a partner or a paycheck? Now, I'm asking this only because this has become a topic of conversation in some of the marriage support groups that I help moderate. The consensus is that men are starting to feel more like a paycheck than they are feeling like a genuine partner in the relationship. A lot of this has to do with where you are on your journey of your relationship. Are you beginning your marriage? Are kids involved? Have you been married for 20 years? It does have to do with more of the longevity of the relationship, as well as it tends to happen after children enter into the home. So once you start having children, this is when men start to feel more the linear role of being a provider rather than a contributor to the overall household. When we work with couples, honestly, a lot of the breakdown of the relationship tends to come from those early years. They do start to take a different role. A lot of it has to do with because we just get so busy. Now you're taking care of little ones and you're taking on these roles just to get things done. Who's going to feed the baby or change the baby, and who has the time or ability to go to work, or who's making more money might be a deciding factor on who goes back to work and who stays at home. And so the transition of going from a couple into a married couple into mom and dad or family, this tends to be the greatest shift in the relationship. And if it's not handled correctly and communicated and discussed and built a plan around, this can be actually the division. It can turn out to be a huge contributing factor in the division of your relationship. So wherever you're at now, wherever you are in this journey, if you are a man that now, identifies more as a paycheck as opposed to a partner in the relationship, what are your options? What are your options now in order to kind of get that relationship back? So of course, I'm going to say the number one thing is communication, right? Actually getting vulnerable about how you feel disregarded or unappreciated, actually using the correct words or terms so that your partner can see that you're hurting. Often we don't take the time to communicate because we are so busy, especially when there's kids and activities and everything. And so what'll happen is you start to just, push these feelings down. And often you don't feel like you have a right to speak your feelings because you know that your partner is so busy as well. And so you push your feelings down and you hope that one day you'll have this conversation. But often in relationships, that doesn't happen. And all of a sudden, you find yourself in a state of looking for a partnership, looking for validation, looking for appreciation or some sort of connection. And that can manifest itself in anything from alcoholism, pornography addiction, infidelity, just even flirting with other people, just looking for some sort of connection. And so start the communication now. Start communicating right now. The second thing I would recommend is really getting clear on what you want your future to look like. And again, talking about that with your partner. What goals can you set that maybe the two of you can, strive for together? What is it that you want that future to look like? Not only for yourself, but as a couple, as a family in a whole. What does that look like? And then create a plan. Create a plan of how you're going to do this together. What are the roles maybe that you can take on so that you are more of a partner rather than a paycheck? What do you need to do? Do you need to come home earlier in the day in order to make sure that you are more hands-on with the kids? Is there something extracurricular that you can become part of so that you can join in with the family and what they're doing? Look at some of the things that you can do to start creating more of a community and less of a divide. Men who feel like they are more of like a paycheck than a partner tend to harbor a little bit of resentment. And it's okay. It's understandable because often have this defining moment in their minds or in their beliefs that they resent. This moment of where they were vulnerable or where they were pushed aside or where it became very clear as to what their role was going to be. And sometimes, it's hard to bring that moment up. But sometimes you have to bring it up in order to get over it. So Think about those 3 steps. Get vulnerable and communicate what it is that you want, where you felt that went wrong. Think about things that you can maybe build your relationship towards, or the vision of the family, ideal family that you'd like to strive for. And then create that plan of action that you will be hands-on to be able to build that future together. All right, I'd love to hear comments about this.